So I didn't get the end. Yeah, that makes more sense. I'm doing this long for two reasons. First, just want to get the algorithm right. Then we actually do the VBA function. We know exactly what to do. Two, I also want to show you when you're doing a complicated stuff, that should allow for a degree of flexibility, and you want to do all of that without using VBA. This is the kind of thing you have to go through. Things are going to be a lot easier in VBA. Now I have my setup. It handles up to about 1100 periods. You can make that as long as you want. The trouble is, this thing, you make it big enough, let's say 10,000 periods, it's going to have so much space on memory. You don't necessarily want that. And if I wanted to use this spreadsheet on our GoalSeek, all I have to do is, add my inputs and stuff and refer to the values in there. Now I got about half an hour. Let me I'm not even gonna try the FV. Well, if you have a present value set up, getting the FV of the payments is not a problem. In fact, let's do this. FV of starting, if we had a starting, take the balloon or start, compound that into total number of periods. So $100 now is worth 164 in 5 years, compounded monthly at that rate. So I'm going to do the following. Just this. Remember, math is the start of using things you know how to do. If I already have the PV, future value of the periodic is simple. Take the present value of the periodic and raise that to the power number of periods. And future value of the annuity is simply present value of the future value of periodic stuff plus future value of the starting. I'm going to be a little bit more conspicuous with these. Alright. Colors of the write-ups is thing. Dark red and yellow. That would have been done, but I want to teach you some basic things about VBA that we're going to use a lot. Let me save this for now. Now, if you have never used VBA on your own computer, or if you're using these computers, you have to do this every time. But for your own computer, you have to do this only once. I already have a developer tab in there. If you have it, you've done it. You don't have to worry. If you don't have it, because it doesn't come on by default, click on any tab, right click on the ribbon, hit customize the ribbon, and make sure that that developer tab is checked. And if I take that off, this is going to be how it's going to look. I mean, I moved the location of the data tab, but on any tab, right click on the ribbon, customize the ribbon, and click on the developer tab, and you can change the order of those tabs. For example, I want the developers to be next to data, but right before it. Well, let's put that to the end. All right. Depending upon your eye dominance, put it anywhere you want. You know, I'm left eye dominant, so putting things I use the most to the most right makes sense for me. If you're right eye dominant, you may want to do it the other way. Whichever one works for you. Once you have the developer tab, okay, you're gonna have those items in the ribbon. Hit Visual Basic. VBA is short for Visual Basic for Applications. I already have some stuff for this one, but click on the file you have, file name you have, and insert a module. A module is simply white space for you to actually code. This is something called class module. That's if you're doing object-oriented programming, which we're not gonna even try in this class, you would use that. It's basically the definition of an object. An object is something that has multiple properties and methods. For example, I can define a vector as an object. You know, a vector has members. You can add a function to add the vectors, which is a method. You can add a property of a vector, which is the number of items, the so-called norm, what have you. Then you can refer to things a lot easier. But, and right down here, you can also give it a name. And let's call this growing annuity functions. I already have some functions in there under that bonus code, but I'm going to pretend we're building this from scratch. First, I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to divide the problem into little pieces. There are two things that I'm going to do a lot. I'm going to calculate the present value of a single cash flow, and I'm going to calculate the future values. Right? So let's write a function, and let me, under format, I think, no, tools, options, I'm gonna make this a bit bigger so that you guys can see. Unfortunately, there is nothing I can do about the background color. So I would have liked to create a contrast so that it's easier to see. And you can always move this around. So I'm gonna make it small. I got about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna only build two simple functions today. Anytime you write a function in VBA, it starts with the keyword function. You're telling Excel that whatever that's coming is the definition of a function. Well, you're gonna give it a name. I'm gonna call this PV one flow. How you capitalize that name does not matter at all. I do it in a particular way for a good reason, and you're gonna find out what that reason. I could have written the function name in all caps. Internally, it doesn't make any difference. And just like any function, it has arguments, inputs, right? You know, if you're calculating, your function calculates a square root, you know, you gotta feed something into it. My present value is gonna have a few inputs. First, iCache. I call it like that because it's my variable name. The function names and variable names are free. However you want, there are some basic rules. It has to be a single string. If you want to combine two things, either separate them with an underscore or just combine them like this iCache.